We will give a start to our meeting. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the June 24, 2026 Police Community Advisory Committee meeting. Meeting is called to order. Now, there's also, for those that couldn't attend, we have Zoom webinar participation. It's available for members of the public. The Zoom webinar ID and link are available on the posted agenda on the city website, okay? So now we'll go to Pledge of Allegiance. I'll guide you. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, Martha, can we have a roll call?
Yes. Committee Member Viruera. Committee Member Camacho notified us that she will not be able to make it today, so she's absent. Committee Member Miller.
Present.
Committee Member Gasca. Committee Member Alvarado.
Here.
Committee Member Hayes.
Present.
Chair de la Rosa. Thank you.
Now we will go to general public. On this part, 2 minutes will be given to for your comments, and you can comment on anything.
Good morning. Go Mexico. Hope they win today. Jose Guerra, Montebello Community. I just want to say I'm very, very hoping Measure G passes, and not for reasons that we don't need, because we do need public safety and other entities that are involved in that. I just hope it does pass, but I'm seeing less and less transparency from the city council members, and also the mayor and the city manager. And sad to say, you know, I want to support everybody, but if you can't do simple things for the community, I can't support you. Doesn't mean I'm going to vote no on that. I haven't decided yet. I'm trying to see if I can have maybe someone reach out to me and try to make things better with the community, like get community involvement. Not just my community, but other communities. We all need to get together and think about this. It's big money, and we got to stop overspending. And, you know, the mayor's made a couple of jokes like, oh, well, we'll tell them in 10 years they will fix their sidewalks. You can't say stuff like that in public. You have to be transparent and be honest and get things done and do your job. And then once again, I want to thank the police department. Thank you guys, Commander Magaña, Chief Acosta, and all your other officers. Thank you guys very much. They're really taking care of Montebello. I appreciate it. I know you don't get a lot of props, but I'm going to give it to you because you deserve it. You do deserve it. And all you people up here, remember that. It's hard to be a police officer. I wish I could walk you through it. I've never been a cop, but something similar. It's a whole different field. But let me tell you, it's a hard job to do. And my respects to them, men and women, and even Sage. God bless you guys. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.
My name is Eric Peterson. Similar to last month, I'm going to whine about how we need bicycle law enforcement. My exciting moment this morning was a guy riding on a sidewalk on North Main Street with his bike lane, and he almost hit me and yelled at me. And I know there's an ordinance that says in a certain area in the downtown area, Public Works can put up signs banning cyclists from people on bicycles from sidewalks, but then you've got an enforcement issue, and we really need that at least on North Main, because I'm tired of getting almost run down by bicyclists. And as I said at the TAMSI meeting today, I've got a history on bicycles, and you don't run people down with them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Peter Zalai. At the last council meeting, the mayor made a proposal to add a community engagement officer to the police ranks. And he did this after the budget was approved. It already had a 13.7% increase in it over the year previous, during a time that we have structural deficits, and in a budget where the police was already receiving an increase, and where 4 frozen positions had been unfrozen. And so I'm in favor of giving the police more money, especially when you go back and look at the record. And in the 4 years previous to 2025, the police department received the least amount of increases, barely keeping up with inflation. So I'm not opposed to giving the police more money. I am, however, questioning whether we need a community engagement officer when I think that the public wants more enforcement. And I would like to see the old motorcycle traffic enforcement unit reinstituted. I believe at one time it had 8 positions, and I think now it has 2. And my understanding is that the engagement officer might free up someone who could then do enforcement, but I don't appreciate that it was done outside of the budget process. I also have this piece of advice to the police department. I was speaking to a friend who said that there were donuts outside of her house, those crazy people doing idiotic things with their cars. And she called the police, and nobody came. And so that's the usual complaint that you hear. And I said to her, well, are you aware that sometimes the police sends out a drone to capture license plates from these idiots, and then maybe 4 or 5 days later will issue a citation or impound the vehicle? She said no. So I would suggest to the police, especially during our efforts to pass Measure G, that we might let the public know that if the police don't come, it doesn't mean that they're not doing their jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. Martha, anybody on Zoom?
And no comments via Zoom.
Anybody? Okay, we will continue. The approval of the minutes of May 27, 2026. Any questions from committee members? No? None? None? Okay. Public comments on this item? Any comments on Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
Now, can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Second? Motion from Colorado, second by Yolanda Hayes. Okay, we will continue with reports from Chief.
Okay, a motion to approve the minutes. So it was motion by committee member Alvarado and second by Hayes. I'll take roll. Committee member Virera, committee member Camacho, committee member Miller,
Yes.
committee member Gasca, committee member Alvarado,
Yes.
committee member Hayes, Chair de la Rosa.
Yes.
Yes, motion passed. Thank you.
Okay, Chief.
All right, thank you. Good evening. Chair De La Rosa and committee members for PCAC. I wanted to just follow up on a couple of requests and suggested that were mentioned for future meetings. I know you all received it typically. What we try to do is send you an email the week after or second that reflects some of the questions or concerns you may have had or questions at the chief's report. So I want to address just a couple of those before we get started with tonight's presentation. So one of the requests was for additional information regarding the ecology action activities funded by the Office of Traffic Safety. So we're hoping to share some information with you and statistics regarding pedestrian and bicycle safety activities conducted by ecology. We will bring that information back that will incorporate a future meeting and presentation regarding all those statistics. The second thing was a request for a flyer about PCAC meetings. So one of the things that we want to do is we're going to put that information out via social media. We did that on Instagram and Facebook this week, and we hope to continue that process so that we create awareness and community members, business owners, residents, whoever feels that they want to attend these meetings. And we'll talk a little bit about what we do and why we do it. So this will allow us to share that information. We'll continue to post our meeting announcements on social media and any other platforms that we use. The other thing was a request to organize our daily patrol logs. We will review that option and also bring that back to you for a future meeting. There are some legal requirements that allows us to put out certain information and not others so that we don't jeopardize or compromise victims, witnesses, or even investigative measures. So we'll talk a little bit about that more also at a future presentation. Couple things of note, National Night Out. It's an incredible event. It's one of the best that law enforcement get to really participate in and build good, strong relationships with our community. I mean, if you didn't go last year, it was an amazing event, so we're hoping that you can join us. It'll be Tuesday, August 4th, from 5 to 7:30 at the Salinas Sports Complex. So hopefully you can join us. The other thing I wanted to note is that we will be going to council on June 30th for the Axon renewal and the extension of our tow service franchise agreement. Those two items will be at the council meeting on the 30th. Also, you've been hearing a lot of information regarding the city's biannual budget. And it was obviously approved on the 16th, so we're happy to report that 4 police officer positions were unfrozen, added to the authorized hiring of 161. We were also, for the 26-27 budget, 1 deputy chief position was added and 1 community outreach assistant was added, not an officer. It's a civilian professional staff member, community outreach assistant. It's not a sworn police officer. And they're added to join the team of 2 that we have currently that really facilitates and manages a lot of these events, a lot of our diversion programs. They work with our cadets. They attend and manage and work with schools and put together anti-bullying presentations, organized retail theft investigations, and so forth. So one of those positions was added to that 26-27 annual budget. So tonight, that really concludes my chief's report. Before I turn it over to our amazing team, both Tara and Vanessa, who are investigative specialists, are going to give you really a strong summary of what organized retail theft is, how we are engaging in those perspectives for reducing crime in our communities and our neighborhoods, and what partners that we have that really allow us to identify and arrest a lot of people that are in the city committing organized retail theft crime. So before I turn it over to them, do you have any questions before I conclude my chief's report?
No questions for me, no.
I had one question.
Yes.
A couple of days back, I went to a store, and I don't know how much you're tackling this issue, but inside the store, it's Costco,
Yeah.
there was an electric bike, 2 kids running around it, and I don't know whether that's your area or reported to the store manager. I don't know what the procedures are on that.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. You know, if it's in a business like Costco, I think they have to own some accountability, responsibility. That's obviously not a safe thing to be doing. I don't know if it was employees. We don't know if it was forklift drivers. If you're saying it was scooters, you know, they may have some mandates and policies that doesn't allow that type of transportation unless it's ADA compliance or other factors that we just don't know about. For things like that, I think it's good that hopefully somebody mentioned that to the manager. It's something that we can work closely with our team. We work really closely with our brick and mortar teams, our Lowe's, our Costco's, our Home Depots as it relates to theft. So that's maybe something that we can mention to them. But we will obviously also, that is a topic that has been a concern for every community member here. We often see that. We're working closely with our team to provide some outreach, education, and training so that parents, schools, teachers, even people that are selling those are in compliance with who they should be selling them to, what license is required, how fast they go, do you require a license, with helmets, equipment, and all of that. So that's one of the things that we're going to be working with our sergeant, Seth Morthen, who provided you that presentation last week. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, and perhaps we can reach out to Costco as well.
Thank you.
All right, and I'll now turn it over to Vanessa Antero to give you the presentation.
Yeah, no. Hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa. This is Tara. We are investigative specialists at the Salinas Police Department. So we're going to give a brief little summary, kind of what we do, what organized retail crime is, organized retail theft, and things like that. So our positions are grant funded. We got it based on the Budget Act of 2022, Senate Bill 154. This was, it enabled us to establish an organized retail theft team that we received about $3.5 million worth of funds. We got the funder was Board of State Community Corrections, and this grant was from the period of October 1st, 2023, all through June 1st, 2027. So the services were through December 31st of 2026, so the end of this year. The purpose of this whole grant and this team is to respond to the growing threat of organized retail crime and continuing high rate of motor vehicle theft. So I don't know if you guys seen those videos online of like people storming the stores and just running in, grabbing a bunch of clothes, running out, and just kind of combating with that and helping deter all of that crime. So like I said, the overall goal is to deter organized retail theft, identify and apprehend suspects, recover stolen property, improve the safety of Salinas businesses, increase economic activity, improve quality of life, and enhance public safety in the city. So at the heart of this program is our organized retail crime team that consists of detectives, sworn officers, civilian investigative specialists, me and myself, community service officers. We all focus on increasing investigations, apprehensions, and recovering property.
So the graph up here just depicts the statistics that have been reported to the grant since the program has started. So this is about a 2-year reporting period from the end of 2023 up to the end of 2025, reflected in the graph, excuse me. And so the incident report number there looks very high. And the reason it looks very high is because when we came on and we started building relationships with our retailers, we encouraged them to be reporting their incidents and any incidents, all incidents, everything that's going on, so that we can capture these incidents, we can document what is going on. We're able to establish patterns and trends with similar people and with similar items that are being stolen. So the incident reports look very high in relation to the arrests and referrals, but we have highly encouraged our retailers to make reports. So that's why it looks very big. And so for the arrests and referrals are separate from each other. So the arrests obviously indicate a physical arrest at the time that an incident might have occurred. And the referrals refer to when we do an investigation on the back end. Example of that is we might receive an online report from a retailer. And so when we receive online reports, we review those, we look at all the evidence. If we have enough to identify suspects, we do that, and then we request warrants, which is where the referral to the DA comes from.
So for those 109 arrests, I know that number seems kind of low compared to the 488 incidents, but you have to also account that a lot of these times these offenders are repeat offenders. So this doesn't show really the amount of incidents that one person can do. So for example, we've had cases where one person will hit up Costco 4 separate times. So all of those incidents count as separate incidents, but it's one arrest. So it can be one person doing multiple thefts, which account for more thefts rather than that one arrest.
And the graph also doesn't reflect, this is a reflection of anything that's specifically defined as organized retail theft, which we will define for you. But we don't only work on organized retail theft specifically, we work on any kind of theft that we have enough information to look at. So we are, honestly, there's probably higher numbers than this, but this is just the specific numbers that fall under the specific definition of organized retail theft. And so this is a lot of words, I know, but this is the full and complete definition of organized retail theft. The main things to note here is that organized retail theft per PC 490.4A is two persons, who act together to steal merchandise with the intent to resell it, exchange it, return it, something of that nature. For value. And then the other thing to note here is that it's a plan, organized plan, or, like I said, intent to sell, organized plan, so stealing merchandise for those reasons. So that is what we operate under when we're looking at theft cases. This is the specific definition that we look at to determine if it's organized retail theft.
So this graph just shows a little of an overview of kind of what we do for our position specifically. We like to eliminate a lot of the officers' duties rather than having them go out and investigate cases. It's stuff that we can do, this is what we'll do. So once we get cases in our queue, and from we get that queue is we get cases that have a specific penal codes that are all theft related that we'll go through and we'll determine if they're organized retail thefts or not. If they are, they will get that label, and then we will start our investigation process. So from there, we gather all evidence. So this may include getting statements from employees, staff, collecting the surveillance camera footage, photos, vehicle data. When it's applicable, we'll get receipts, we'll get store reports, any information and data we can to help identify the suspects, we will try to be collecting so we can ID them. From there, we compile our findings. When we do get a suspect ID, we create a little packet for officers where they can follow up. It'll usually include the suspect photo, snapshots of the crime, evidence photos, and full narrative reports so that officers can look at it and have the whole picture. That way they don't have to go in deep dive and look at all those little details. They can just get the packet, go pick up the person for stealing, go question the person for stealing, go question the suspect, or just do follow-up that we can't do because we're not sworn officers, that they can. So we will ask an officer to follow up, or we'll warrant request ourselves those cases if we can make an ID and we are 100% sure that this suspect did this crime. And then from there, we also do blitz operations. A blitz operation basically is we get together with other retailers, we meet with officers, and we'll set up a day in their store and we'll wait for people to come steal or do theft, whatever kind of crime that they're doing. We wait outside of their stores, we'll coordinate with their loss prevention, and they're giving us play-by-play of what's going on inside of the stores. Once they know that person has stolen and they walk out of a store, that's when our officers step in and make the apprehension. We also do targeted enforcement, and we're liaisons with other law enforcement agencies where we've had cases where they'll go steal from a Target in Marina and Capitola, and then they'll come to Salinas. So we're kind of liaisons in between those law enforcement departments as well. And these are just some of the retailers and businesses we have established good working relationship with. As you can see, there's a lot in there. So we're always trying to grow, and luckily it has grown. We've added a lot more within the past year since we've joined. So as you can see, we have a good variety up there. We're Kohl's, Costco, Hobby Lobby, Dick's, Goodwill. It's not just whether just clothing stores or department stores. It's a little bit of everything. So those are some of our retailers that we established with.
And then we just wanted to provide a snapshot of a couple of incidents that we have worked that have impacted the community. So if, for example, this incident, these two persons, they impacted several of our retailers. As you can see up there, we had 6 incidents here in Salinas alone. This was right at the end of 2024. They impacted our businesses here for over $15,000 in merchandise over those 6 incidents. Through the course of our investigation, we discovered that this duo had also been impacting businesses all over the state. They were across 8 counties, 15 other known cases that we were able to find in other jurisdictions. So for a grand total of approximately $45,000, these two impacted businesses all over the state. They were also violent in some instances in Napa and here in Salinas. Unfortunately, they were using bear spray against employees who were confronting them when they were stealing. Luckily, they were, in fact, the same evening, I believe, that they bear sprayed an employee here in Salinas, they went to Marina. They were on their way, I'm sure, to go find another business to steal from. They were apprehended in Marina on New Year's Eve, 2024. Since that time, the guy at the top there, he was sentenced to 2 years prison, and our guy at the bottom was sentenced to 3 years and 8 months. And then this case is a little outside of the definition that we mentioned to you guys because he was a solo actor, but the loss amount was so huge with this suspect that, of course, we jumped on this investigation. So he went into JCPenney on 2 separate occasions with a hammer and smashed open the jewelry cases and grabbed everything that he could possibly grab. Unfortunately, it was a huge loss for JCPenney, over $245,000 across the 2 incidents. Luckily for us, as we've mentioned, we have fantastic partnerships with our retailers, and our retailers almost sometimes better than our officers know these suspects because they see them day in and day out all the time. We luckily had a loss prevention agent at one of the retailers who recognized this person and provided us his identity. So we were able to put out a BOL to look for him. Our officers apprehended him 2 days after he had committed his second theft at JCPenney. He pled no contest to grand theft. He was sentenced to prison 32 months. And so these are just 2 examples. These are very extreme examples, but these, these happened here in Salinas. And so we don't typically deal with huge losses or huge cases like this, but they do happen. So we're looking at anything from these huge cases all the way down to the shoplifter who walks into the convenience store and grabs the beer and the candy bar. So that's just a little bit of what we're working on.
And yeah, that was our contact information. You see our sergeant's contact information there. He was supposed to be here, but he got a little busy, so we took over. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let us know.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your report. Any questions from members?
No questions. Thank you for your presentation. It was awesome. Can we go back to the metrics page real quick? I just had a real quick question about the, there we go. Of the 109 arrests, were those directly from your guys' department or division? Or was that just department-wide, with the arrests? I'm sure that you guys are on the forefront of this particular type of crime sprees, but I'm sure that there's some of these things happening outside of your guys' business hours. So are these just solely from your guys' division, the 109?
No, so this can definitely just be from officers who are out on patrol.
Okay.
And thefts that are occurring at any time. If they fall under the category,
Yeah.
then they get labeled and they count towards this.
Beautiful. That's what I was wondering. And I'm glad you went through the trouble of letting us know about the pre-qualifications for what it is that you guys are doing in your department. One more quick question. So you said that this is being funded by the grant through the end of this year. Any idea what's going to happen with this program, given the short span that we have left? Is this something that the police department is talking about renewing on their own budget, or we'll see you in a different department next year?
Do you want to take that? Or?
We can put it on Chief Acosta, too.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, that's not really a question that I think we can answer.
Yeah, we'd love to say.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know.
It seems like you guys are doing a great job. So
Thank you.
thank you for that. That's the end of my questions.
Thank you. That was my question as well with the grant funding. And so thank you for the presentation, and hopefully we can extend this program somehow.
Thank you.
When you apprehend these, I don't know, burglars or thieves, do you recover this material that they steal, like the jewelry and all this? Do you recover that?
So, of course, we try.
Yeah.
It honestly depends on how quickly the apprehension is made after the fact. Of course, as I mentioned, a lot of times we receive these reports online. And so the online reports usually don't come right away. They might come days after the incident happened. The more time that passes, obviously, the more we're losing the chance of recovering. Unfortunately, specifically in that case with JCPenney, we were only able to recover one piece of merchandise from that suspect. So we try to, of course, if we catch them as soon as this theft has happened, obviously, yes, of course, we're going to recover it because we've caught them right in the moment when it happened. But we do try, and particularly with that case, we did also do a lot of follow-up in an attempt to figure out what happened to all this jewelry. Unfortunately, we were not able to get any leads on that, but we do try to do what we can to make sure everything gets recovered.
It just seems like, and this is not to be facetious, but it just seems like it's a profitable market for these thieves to get less than 3 years for stealing almost $250,000.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
big
and
loss.
unfortunately, once it goes past us and the arrest, and then it goes to the courts and the DAs, and then we don't have control, of course, over any of the time that they receive or anything like that once they go. And so, yeah, I completely understand what you mean, and sometimes we feel that frustration as well. But we, of course, don't have control over it once it goes there.
And that cost of attorneys, does that go into your grant too? Do they get money from that to pay for other issues that might come up?
No.
Or is
So the
this
grant-
strictly for,
The grant is strictly for SPD employees for us, and then officers who are working ORT or anything like that. So it's just for SPD, not, unfortunately, we don't have like a attorney assigned to us or a deputy district attorney assigned to us. So I'll just go to the courts, and if they have other general felonies or mistos, whatever it gets assigned to, it's what they're
and this is, I know this is maybe something that you can't answer, but I used to have Walmart as my client when I worked in sales, and they used to have the highest technology among any other industry. Is that still the case? Do you find that they catch their own more so than other companies, being as large as they are? Because they were very good with the technology that they had in preventing theft. And they were the leaders back then, 15, 20 years ago. I would imagine they're still the leaders.
So for the retailers, it's essentially completely voluntary on their end, how much they're going to work with us and how much they want to give us. as far as information, reporting. So we work with, I mean, a lot of our retailers, we get reports from them almost on a daily basis, and some of them we don't. And a lot of that also is company policy. So it's really dependent upon the actual retailer and their policies and how they operate within their own company. I used to work in retail as well before I went to law enforcement, and in the retailer that I worked in, we did not report anything to the police unless it was like catastrophic and terrible. It was just like, whatever reason, the policy of the company was just like, no, we're not reporting to the police, we just report internally, and then that's how we keep track of what's going on. But yeah, so it's really dependent upon the retailer themselves, and how much they report and the policy that they have behind that.
And they were probably insured as well, so sometimes it's faster just to say it's not worth reporting it to the police. But great job what you do. I mean, we really appreciate anything that you do. I hope our Safeway thieving has gone down. I just don't know about that, but I know we used to have a lot of thefts in Safeway in Creek Bridge. So I'm hoping that they stop taking cartloads of produce and meats and whatever they used to steal. Thank you. Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
I have a question, dollar amounts, do you go after any amount, or if it's before, if it's
Yeah, for us, we have no threshold. For us, if you're reporting it to us, we'll investigate it. As long as you have good information, we'll try our best. I know sometimes if it's a dollar candy bar, the DA might not want to, pursue that in court, but we'll do our best extent to investigate it to its fullest and send it where it needs to go.
So I remember I was working with an outfit, and our friends, the homeless, they would go into stores and come out running with a loaf of bread, and so items like that, if the store doesn't report them.
Yeah, so again, with store policy, depending if they want to report it, that's great, we'll investigate it. But again, if they have a threshold of 2 items or a certain dollar amount, if it doesn't meet that, they might not report it with us.
But for us, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll investigate it. If we have good information, we'll take it and we'll run with it as far as we possibly can, no matter how much.
Dollar, whatever
Yeah.
it might be.
Okay, thank you. Okay, public comments? None? All right, Mr. Guerra, yes.
Hi, good afternoon, Jose Guerra, Montevilla Community. I think it's a great idea. I just wish more vendors would participate in this. I know that a lot of their policies are not to report it if it's a certain dollar amount. And for your question, Yolanda, about them getting jail time, like the 2 years and 8 months is a lot of time in jail. I mean, the first week is just the most horrendous week for them. I've seen that firsthand. It's like, what do I do? Where do I go? You're an R&R, and you're bringing them in. And they're just confused. I mean, they don't know what to do. It's a whole different playing field for them, especially if they haven't been in the system. So that's a lot of time. You might not think it is. It's a lot of time. I mean, 1 week in there, 1 month in there is a lot of time for somebody on either side of the wall. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I hope we have more programs like this. I hope we get another grant. That'd be great to have another grant. Have them stand by. That'd be better. They might even be our future cops. We need more cops. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Have a good evening. I'm going to watch the game.
Thank you. Any comments on Zoom, Martha?
No comments via Zoom.
No comments, okay. Committee member comments? Committee member comments?
Hey, I wanted to give a shout out to the Salinas PD. I've seen them on social media here the last few weeks. It seems like they're finding all kinds of different things around these stops that they're making, guns getting pulled off the streets. They're doing a great job doing investigations. I mean, it just seems like a lot of stuff they're catching lately. And I wanted to say thank you and appreciate your guys' efforts. Thank you to the police chief and all the officers. That was my comment.
I'm still following up on the reports for districts or where you're having the most crimes. I hear a lot of sirens every single night. There was an accident in my community between Manchester and Castleton. There were 2 ambulances there and 2 fire engines were there. Yet I went into the website to see what happened, and there was no reporting of that. And when I hear all the sirens, I'm just wondering, you know, don't want to be like Maureen, Jose left. The lady that comes to the meetings, and she used to have the police radio at her house. She used to have that to track what was going on, and I don't want to get to that point. But I'd like to read about it or see it in the news, because that seemed like something serious, and it could have been with e-bikes or motorcycles. And I've also requested that the police monitor that area from Constitution turning into Manchester. I've seen so many people that are crossing, not on the crosswalk, just crossing along where before there used to be a crosswalk there, but they took it off, and there's been a lot more accidents. And I'd just like more surveillance in that area in Creek Bridge, because they just speed through that area. I know they speed everywhere in Salinas, but, you know, especially it's dangerous when you come into Manchester and it's a sharp turn all of a sudden onto Little River. There's cars parked on all sides. I don't know if there's been accidents there. I know there were before. I don't know where to find that information. I don't see it on the police roll call or the calls. So maybe there's some things that you can report, some things that you don't have to report. I don't know. I just hear it every single night. The other thing is fireworks. There's an area right there by Independence and Lexington. You can see all the material that they've left outside when they're setting off. They sound like bombs, really, really loud bombs. And I wanted to do a count on Nextdoor how many reports, and people are feeling so negative. I'm just hoping that we have more patrol, because these really are loud. One of my neighbors said her house shook. So that's really, really bad. So I'm hoping that you do, you know, I don't know how you're prioritizing. It's such a terrible, I mean, I find it a terrible event because of all the fireworks, but I'm hoping that someone, maybe somebody can report on that and let us know where the peak areas are, if you know. But it's just very, very disturbing, especially when your house shakes. So everybody on Nextdoor is saying that the numbers that you have up to call are useless. And I know I've called about 5 times, and again, I don't get a call back. Maybe they're doing surveillance via a drone. I don't know, but I've not gotten a call. And the sounds are very, very loud. I feel sorry for those that have PTSD. Thank you. Those are my comments.
In my comments are, I've seen a lot of, on the media, a lot of action from police department, and I'm happy for that. And I'm pretty sure we'll be getting some more, also in the reports that the chief gave, or at least a copy that I received. I think we're going to be seeing more on police log. That's another media way to know the actions that you guys are doing. So I applaud you guys for that. Thank you for your service.
We do have the best
Having-
police department, though.
Having no other things to talk about, this meeting is done.